Hey everyone, I'm just looking on Facebook here and reading some of the comments, and I would really like to say thank you to everyone who's been by my side. Thank you to all.
It's crooked, but that's okay. You got it in there, man. Good job, Mom.
The doctors divide the backbones into three primary parts. The neck, the chest part where the ribs come in and come around and protect the heart and lungs, and then the lower back where there are no ribs again. We're going to focus on this part of the backbone where there are no ribs, the neck part of the backbone. The neck part of the backbone is also called cervical spine in medical mumbo jumbo. Cervical just means neck, spine means the backbone. So spine is the bone part, spinal cord is the nerve part that we'll talk about later. So cervical spine just means neck backbone. That's all. Cervical spine starts with the letter C, so we also call this part of the spine C-spine. C-spine happens in about 7 of these bones, so we just number them C1, 2, 3, C4, C5, C6, C7. This is you, day after Christmas, about 1:30 in the morning. That's part of your brain, that's part of your skull, part of your neck, but no backbones yet. These are backbones stacked up on top of each other. It doesn't take us a lot of scientists to see that this is different than here. So these are this part is different for the fact that these bones are a little squatted down a little bit. There are a little bit more bone spurs here. I'm going to zoom it up. And then more importantly, there's a little bulge over here where you went to the tunnel where the spinal cord ought to be. And when you look at the spinal cord, it's just a little bit different than the rest of the spinal cord. Nice and dark and skinny, space in front, space in the back. Whereas these, a little bit ragged. There's some different colors, some swollen here, a little bit more swollen compared to down here. A little puffy, a little bit pale, a little black and blue in there. So this is the part of spinal cord where you got bruised up when you fell. Okay? The medical mumbo jumbo is called cord contusion. Contusion just means that it got bruised up. Okay. This is the first tiny little bone called C1. C2, second neck bone. C3, C4, C5, C6. So 2, 3, 4. So starting about C4, C5, C6 is where most of the problem is. Okay? Yeah. All right. What they did was they cut around this side. Okay. And so they can open it up. So they open up the bone and put a little spacer in there. So now that makes a little bit more room. Tiny little screws. You see tiny little screws there? Yeah. So these screws need the bones to grow and to be stable. So that's why you're on the collar while they're maturing. Okay. Okay. So you can see them. So they open up on the left side. You come to realize, so you come to realize spinal cord not only controls movement and sensation to your fingertips and all that, but also controls pooping, controls peeing. You come to realize that it controls your blood pressure, controls your heart rate, controls breathing. So much so that other people are on breathing machines because they got spinal cord got damaged so badly more than you would. So in that test, we're able to tell that from the fifth neck nerve, C5 and above, your spinal cord is still working okay. That's why you can shrug your shoulders. That's why you can move the sensation over here. That's why you can bend your elbow a little bit. But beyond that, you start having weakness in that wrist, in the fingers, and then down the legs. Mm-hmm. So right now, this level is called C5. So somebody asks you what you got today. Right now, you have a C5 incomplete spinal cord injury. Tomorrow they change to C6. That's how people get stronger. Right. So next time maybe C7, next time maybe going down further and further. okay? But for right now, you have a C5 recovery.
I think my kids did the talking, Crystal and.
You didn't ask the doctor, so you said you fixed my neck, but I'm still paralyzed, what the hell are you doing?
No, I wanted to get out of there. I
You
don't
didn't
know.
ask him, when am I gonna get better?
No, my kids did.
Here's what we're doing. You're not the first person to ever have spinal cord injury. You go to the gym, you get down a dozen over there. You know, and unfortunately, this has been happening for decades, eons, hundreds of years. If a spinal cord is not cut in half, how does it recover? Nothing was surgeries. The surgery they did was on the bones. Because spinal cord is so complicated, inside the spinal cord, billions of little nerves, surgeons are not very good. They go in there and try to sew up each one of those nerves. That's when we were able to make stem cells grow like nerves in the spinal cord. And we all got excited. Hey, finally we can regenerate spinal cord, because spinal cord doesn't regenerate itself. So finally we got a way to regenerate it. We all got excited. As a matter of fact, if you Google it up, we're the first hospital that put stem cell into people's spinal cord injury to see how to help people with spinal cord.
And it didn't work?
And after all that time, today in 2023, we're still only able to grow stem cells to look like nerves in the spinal cord on a petri dish on a test tube. Because after all that time, we, and then a whole bunch of hospitals followed after us, none of us were able to make that happen, make it grow on any people.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, we haven't been able to make that happen on any living creatures. Now, I come to you to get better, and you tell me you ain't got no medication, no surgery. I'll just work hard, like you have. You tell me to show up at 9, I'm going to show up at 8:30. I'm going to start warming up. You tell me to stop at 5, I'm going to keep on going. That's okay, I can miss up a little bit. But, so the question is really what? What kind of activity, exercise, and therapy help? What kind don't? How much is enough? How much is not enough? How much is too much? How much is too little? I know I guarantee you're working out more than you work out at Grady. But is it helping? I don't know. Let's count activity, exercise, and therapy actually can affect the way nerves recover. The only thing bad for you and me is that we've only found out to be most helpful for people with brain damages rather than spinal cord injuries. He said, well, why? Because your connection constantly gets hooked, so that way, when you learn new information, you lose some of the old ones.
Okay.
Because the brain doesn't get any bigger. The brain doesn't regenerate. So, that's my, it's for survival skills. Get around the house, get around the bed, get out of bed, get around the house, get out of the house, hygiene and nutrition. Out of that, you got 2 teachers, your PT and OU.